what was it like being in the studio recording with 3-6 Mafia?
Oh man, it was nonstop hard work and artistic satisfaction at the same time. Those guys would block book the place, I mean, for a month at a time. And, you know, they drove a hard bargain, by the way. I gave them the lowest rate I've ever given to anybody because it was a good thing. You know, there was something going on and everybody knew it. So anyway, we lived in that damn studio. We would get there in the afternoon and not get out until the next morning. It was wonderful because, you know, in real time you would witness, you know, creativity and greatness. They were very serious about their work. Once they got in there, I mean, that was it. We just kept working. We didn't even take, you know, dinner breaks or anything. We just like, we'd bring some food in and eat on the console while writing verses. And, you know, you have to understand that that was a big family. It wasn't just Paul and Juicy. It was everybody, you know, the members, of course, you know, Gangsta Boo, you know, Lord Infamous, you know, Crunchy, whatever, Coop. But they also had all these other, you know, side members, if you will, you know, from the Kamikaze Incorporated guys, MC Mac and Scamman, you know, all that. And they were everybody was in the studio at all times. And then there were all these kind of like, you know, ballets or hanger-ons, you know, but they were regular presence in my place. There was this little engineer who is now Gotti's guy, Little Pat, of course, you know, the legendary. There were other guys that were just hanging around, and some of them survived, some of them didn't, as is always the case. But there was a sense of a family that looked out for each other. You know, there were guests that would come and go. We had the Hot Boys come up from New Orleans at one point, and there was this big police raid at my place. You know, I mean, you couldn't see for the smoke. You know, there were like a good 30, 40 people in the studio. Yeah, we had some interesting incidents from time to time. We had some arrests.
Did they tear up your studio, or?
No, it wasn't like that. It was just that, you know, some people would be in the studio, some people would be hanging outside. Next thing you know, police would drive by and they decided they needed to raid the place, you know, just to do it. And next thing you know, they would drag Paul or Juicy downtown and we had to go bail them out and stuff like that, man. That was that was part of the deal.
Yeah. So you definitely, I mean, it was like a family-oriented relationship then. Like, I mean, you had their backs for real, it sounded like. Absolutely did. You know, I never once felt uncomfortable or unsafe, or I never felt like I couldn't talk about something with the guys. You know, if there was something that I wanted to bring to their attention that could have been done differently or better, I felt, you know, free and encouraged to say that. They're really good guys. You know, they're really cool, creative guys, and they respect the same in others. They respect creativity, and they appreciate the hard work. Now, you know, that may not be reflected in the way the money split up, you know, but it was at least a family vibe otherwise. Yeah, definitely. Lord Infamous, he was a real humble individual. We had him on the show about a year before he passed. And one of the things I really respected about him, we were talking about, you know, him doing drugs and stuff. He's like, I want my fans to know that even though I make music about it, I don't want you to do drugs. And I really respected that of him, because even though he was battling his demons, he still had enough in him to say, don't be like me. You know, don't do this.
He was a sweetheart. He was humble. He was really quiet in the studio until he got in front of the mic. And he was, in my estimation, he was probably the most interesting creatively from all of them, because early on he would experiment. I mean, he would just try to rap over a metal track, for that matter. You know, I mean, he was like really unafraid to try things, and that inspired the rest to, you know, to bring up their game. You know, I mean, it was a really cool thing. It was a strive in a funny way. You know, for all the you know, hardcore lyrics, there was this quest for excellence. Let's see how far we can take it. Let's see how creative we can be. Let's see if we can break new ground here.
Yeah, definitely. What was, you know, another one gone, Koopsta, what was he like?
Man, he was more of the same kind of humble. As much as he was flamboyant in front of a mic, he was a humble guy. He was easy to work with. I did an album. Actually, I produced a record on him, the K Project, at one point, you know, and had a chance to really get to know him well. He was just a sweetheart. He was. He had his problems like everybody else. You know, they come from an environment that sooner or later will manifest itself in some kind of way. But all around, this guy was sweet, sensitive, you know, not afraid to work, not afraid. He was a perfectionist. He would call me up in the middle of the night with a new idea, you know, and just talk my ear off and wouldn't rest until we got in the studio and tried it. You know, he was great. He was a great guy. That's another guy that, you know, of course, left us too early.
Yeah.
But, you know, man, it's just part of the game.
Yeah, yep. That's one thing for certain for us all, you know, is we all die, unfortunately. But Coop, I always loved how he experimented with his vocals, the way he would deliver them, and the cadence and the harmony. I mean, super fucking unique and a rare individual, you know.
He was incredible. He would hear stuff in his head, harmonically and tonally. He used his voice like an instrument. He would just cop different tones and different pitches, and he knew exactly how it was going to translate before we ever recorded it. You know, he would do like his ad-libs a different way, and they would sound like background vocals in a way.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like, comment, share. Also go over to UGSforLife.com, download the entire archive, and check out new episodes on Apple Podcasts and Blog Talk Radio.